requested that I do a video on houses, specifically the pumpkin, strawberry and pear house, but I thought, well, I might as well do them all. So these are all the houses I have that are in the cages at the minute. All the hamsters are waking up. And I will probably show you the ones in the cages after I've done these ones. So I guess I'll do a bit of a pros and cons of each, really. So I've got a coconut, one of them half coconut houses. I got this ages ago from Surrey Pet Supplies, which I think they've stopped doing small animal supplies, but I'm not sure. But this was for reptiles anyway. It's far too small for Syrian hamsters, but I used it for my Chinese and my hybrid when he was a baby, but the Chinese fit fine in that, but that's pretty much all I would buy it for. And then I have one of the Furplast houses that you get with the mini doona. These are alright for dwarves, Chinese, but adult Syrians I would say are a little bit big. I mean, there's not much room for them to turn around and stuff, so I wouldn't use those for an adult Syrian. But an adult Syrian shouldn't be in a mini doona cage anyway because it's too small. Then I have these are the Savick houses, and they can hang like that on the cage, or they can just stand. I have two of these, this one and a blue one, but I've stopped using them. I used to use it for my Chinese, one for my Chinese, one for my hybrid, but I've stopped using them because they didn't really, I used to have them hanging like that to save space in the cage, and they didn't really use them, so I like them, but I think they're better for things like rats and things. Then I've got the Hamster Heaven, or this is from the Hamster Heaven, but you also get them in the, I think it's the Youmeandthepiggys Metro, and I call them the nipple house because they look a bit, you know. Anyway, all my hamsters are like these. Both my Syrians fit in them fine, but they don't sleep in them. Munchkin has one as his grooming hut, and he sits in there and cleans himself for a little bit before coming out. And Timo doesn't have one because he's not in a Savick cage. So I do quite like them, and they look really small, but what happens is they sit on the shelf, and underneath the shelf there's another bit that's about that big, one of those turned upside down, so altogether it's quite big. Then I've got a super pet, I think it's resin, I think it might be, it's supposed to be a post male house or whatever, I don't know. This is really small, so I wouldn't give it to any of my hamsters now. I used to have my mice used to have this, but they both fit in there, but they're tiny, so yeah, I wouldn't give that to Syrians or Chinese or hybrids now. Then I have a Christmas pudding, but I would never put one of these in the cages because it's fabric, and if they chew it when you're not there and swallow parts, it's bad for them. And they also pee on it and stuff. They pee on it when they're out for playtime, so I have to wash it a lot, so I can't imagine leaving it in their cage because I think they just pee on it all the time. So just for playtime, that is really a bit of fun for Christmas. And then onto the houses, these ones that I was asked to talk about. So this one's the pear, which is actually quite big. I can fit my hand inside. So I would possibly give this to the Syrians. No one's had it yet, but I would possibly give that to the Syrian. I'm not sure, because Syrians tend to grow really big. I mean, Timo's not fully grown yet and he's already really big. He's staring at me. I don't know if you can see him. There. Anyway, so I would give that to a Syrian maybe to see if they fit inside, but if they don't, then I wouldn't give it to them because they're not going to sleep in it and it's just a pointless thing. It's made out of plastic, and this one, the pumpkin, is made out of clay, is it? Clay, I think, or porcelain. It's not porcelain. I think it's clay. And this is quite small. My hybrid used to have it because he fit in it fine, but my Syrians won't fit in it. They're too big. So I wouldn't give that to a Syrian, but I really like this little house, pumpkin house. And then I have a strawberry, which I think is meant to have a hole in the bottom like that one, but this one doesn't for whatever reason. I bought it off eBay second hand, so I don't know. This one is okay for a Syrian, I guess. Timo had it for a little bit, but he only just fit in it when he was a baby, so I can't imagine him fitting in it now. I wouldn't give that to an adult Syrian, but I would give it to a hybrid or a Chinese because they'll fit in it fine. The only problem with this one is without there being a hole in the bottom, it gets really wet inside with condensation and when they're breathing and stuff. So it's not the best house. That one's a little bit better because it's got a hole. But when Timo was first brought home, every time he came out of this he was wet, and it was worrying me because at first I thought it was something like wet tail. But then I realised it was the house and he was sweating and the house was all wet inside. So I wouldn't really recommend the strawberry house. And then I will show you the houses that are in the cages that I can't get out because people are sleeping. This is Munchkin's house. It's just the Hamster Heaven penthouse, which is a little bit wet there because he wheezes. But I usually do dry this every day. That's huge, so it's fine for Syrians, and Munchkin loves it and sleeps in there a lot and makes a mess. So I recommend this house if you have a Hamster Heaven. If not, obviously you're not going to want one of these houses. Timo lives in the I don't know if you can see it, this. It's the house in the top tier of the Imac Fantasy. He doesn't sleep in there, he sleeps in his wheel for whatever reason. But that's big enough for a Syrian and a dwarf and everything, so I quite like that one if you have this cage. This is going to be really awkward, but P has the Pickles cottage, I think it is, there, from Pets at Home, and it's quite big inside, but there's not really room for a Syrian to turn around in, so hello. I would say maybe not for a Syrian. I'm not sure if anyone has one for a Syrian, let me know how it is. And then little man just has the mini Duna house, which he fits in fine. Hello. And then the boys have a cardboard, what's it called? Cardboard, like you fit it together. And they like sleeping in that, so I just leave them in that, and it's good because it has two entrances and there's two of them, so I leave them in that. Hello. So that is all my houses that I currently have, which is quite a few, and I hope that's answered your questions for the person who requested this, who I'll put, I think I've already said, but I'll put them in the box down there. So thank you for watching.